Now moving on to the site. So these are some. So that when I talk about the site, it's not only the museum, of course, but also the surroundings. So looking around the forest and the church that is nearby, the road. So around this area, basically. So I focused on, well, also three dimensions. The site configuration. It's about what has been observed. What are the conclusions we can take from that? The users and the relation between the museum and the church. So the three key elements of the site, basically. So in terms of the configuration of the site, in general aspects, we can see that there's a small slope. Which normally wouldn't be a big deal, but we can also link that to the fact that there are floodings in this area. Okay, so apologies for that. Yeah, so I was starting to draw for the site diagram and it got cut. I don't know why. But basically, if I need to resume quickly. In terms of the site, I looked at three things. So the configuration, the users, and the fact that museum and church and forest are the key elements. So for the configuration, there's a little slope and there are floodings. So these are two things we need to protect the people from. But it's a cultural commercial zone, as there's a cafe nearby, the church is here. Our site is very close to, as I said earlier, of the downtown. So this is something that could possibly attract people to our site. The fact that it's next to a road, but a highly used road, is also something that could possibly attract people, as it's easy access to the site. It's also meaning that there are sounds, so something we need to be aware of. It's also next to the road, but it's also next to the forest on the opposite side. So a more calm area and well valued. The strong sunlight and heat, this is also something, just like the flooding, we need to protect people and buildings from by working on shadings and cooling spaces. However, the fact we need to protect people and buildings from these two things, it can also be seen as a potential for our designs. So this is why I highlighted the fact that it could be protected. So these are things we could be possibly working on for design. So moving on to the users now, I was talking about the fact that the path between the church and the museum is often used by pedestrians, so visitors and local, but also cars, as it's a driveway. This path is strongly used, and I was linking to the cultural, the fact that our site is located on a cultural street, as you could say, because of the church and the museum, obviously, but theater as well, which is on the same street. The users that go to church are more for community activities and church services, obviously. These are some things you do usually in groups. The museums, local people go there, visitors as well, so maybe something we need to highlight. So this is something you can do in groups as well, or alone. Forests, families go there, joggers. It can also be the place for community activities. But overall, these three elements are there for common relaxing activities. Also something we need to think about. The common relaxing activities and spaces are well valued by the town, as it's part of the spirit of a very calm and nice neighborhood with a cultural background to it. So yeah, quickly about the museum and the church then, as they are historical buildings. So there's a link, I guess, between the two of them, and the fact that they are also both used by the community. So these three elements, I think, are already part of the cultural aspect, so already well seen by the community. So our job, I think, now is mostly to highlight these elements and to show, so maybe to the people of Cremona what can it also offer, and what are maybe the other potential activities they can offer. So I'll quickly finish to highlight the good things and things already to be aware of. New activities, but always in the same spirit of the town.